What's up, everybody? It is Jessica, your favorite small business attorney. I am the managing attorney at J Bull Consulting Firm LLC, where we help small businesses and creative create a strong legal foundation. We are back at it again for Getting to Gold, the conversation where we talk with entrepreneurs as they share their journey, their obstacles, and their business, and leave us with really, really great tips. Today, we are talking to Katie Smith, and she helps small businesses and coaches create curriculums and courses for success. So, Katie, why don't you tell the people what you do and what you are all about?
Yes. Well, first, thanks. Thank you for having me. Thanks for hanging out with me. So first and foremost, just so people know, like, I'm a teacher by day. So my business is my nighttime job, not like what they normally do in Vegas, but you know, and so in the business world, I help coaches create curriculum for their programs. And people tend to think like, okay, well, that's not going to work. I've heard this numerous times. And it's like, yes, but everybody in the business industry has their specialty. And like your specialty is law, there's copywriters, sales coaches, everybody has their specialty. And so creating curriculum is mine. Like, how can we take your expertise and zhuzh it up and make it fancy and make sure the spotlight is on you and everybody is learning exactly what you want them to learn? Because the worst thing that I've seen, and I have fallen victim to it, is like amazing marketing and then like a course that doesn't provide what you thought it was going to provide.
Oh my goodness, that would be so terrible. So, Katie, that is such a really interesting, dope thing. So, Katie, you make curriculum and you're a teacher, so you know what you're talking about. You're not just basing it off of some arbitrary, I made a course one time and now I'm going to teach other people how to make it. I love it. We love the experts here. We're here for the experts. So how did you make that transition? Because a teacher is already a very, we're here for the hot side hustlers and we're here for the 9-to-5ers. So how did you decide, like, you know what? I know teaching is a lot. I know kids are a lot, but I'm going to do? I'm going to go home and work some more on teaching. How did you make that transition? Like, what?
Well, thank you, COVID, for allowing me to teach from home. Because in March, like when we were sent home, we in Las Vegas, we weren't really live teaching. So I had like days. I was like early summer vacation essentially for us. And I am one of those people who can't sit still and like has to be doing something. And I had started like my entrepreneur journey creating resources for teachers, but the platform that I was selling them on, it's like the main one that all the teachers use, takes 55% of your sale. And I was like, yeah, this is not business. And so I started like dabbling and like thinking about it. And my friend who's a realtor was like, can you help me build my real estate course, which is to train realtors after they like pass their test? And I was like, sure. And then from there, it was kind of like, okay, this is like something feasible. And this is something that I could do. And so now we are teaching virtually, which helps because I'm working from home. And I just learned to set really clear boundaries of like, I stop my teaching at 2:41 and then it's business time and my lunch is business time and just working business into my teaching schedule.
Wow. So really it was somebody like recognizing your skill set and kind of being like, hey, and you were like, I can help people do that. And you just kind of ran with it. And honestly, that's what happens a lot of times. I've been talking to quite a bit of entrepreneurs, and it does seem that there's the recognizing of a skill set or a necessity, which is important for any business. Often, I say it jokingly, but like, who asked for that? Like, sometimes it's like, who asked for that? Like, but if someone's asking for it, then there's a demand. And so someone was asking for it, and so you started this business. So when you started your business, what first steps, or what was something that concerned you off the bat? Like, was there anything that you were like, ooh, okay, tricky?
So I am very not good at sales. Like, it's my like, people could be like, no, thank you. And I'm like, okay, have a nice day. Like,
thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thanks.
But having to learn like how to interact and like how to sell also. So that was like number one. Also, I I feel like there's a lot of things entrepreneurs don't always talk about, like the fact that you are literally everything in your business until you can afford to outsource. Like you are the salesperson, the marketer, the content creator, like the product provider. Like, you're doing all of it, and nobody talks about, like, people are like, oh, start a business. No one's like, oh, so you're gonna have to pay for your LLC. You're gonna need a lawyer to check some things. You're gonna need to pay for this. Nobody talks about all the expenses, but they talk about the glam side. So I would say,
what glam side? I'm looking for it. Where is it at? Where? What?
Right.
What?
I work harder now. I mean, aside from teaching, I work harder now doing entrepreneurial stuff than like any job I've ever had.
No, that's real. I think that's exactly correct, Katie. But what I will say is that I find my work much more rewarding. I don't know if that's the case for you, because a lot of times if you're working for yourself or you're working in a business, you're doing it because it's something that you're passionate about and that you care about. Was that the case for you? Even though it's like you're working harder, it's like the people you get to meet, the people you get to work with, the stuff you get to do. It's just like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah, 100%. Because like in teaching, I'm creating curriculum for like 7th graders. They don't care. Like they can give two whatevers about if I created a cool lesson. And not that adults are like super excited about cool lessons, but being able to like teach them how to improve their programs and how to improve their courses. Like the feedback I've gotten has just been so much more rewarding than like the kid who wasn't paying attention and like
they're making me be here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have to teach the same thing 5 times a day. Like it's different with every client. So
that's so good. I completely agree with that. I think that's true. And, that's part of the reason we wanted to make Getting to Goal, because I wanted to have more conversations about what it really takes to be an entrepreneur. It's not to discourage others, it's to inform. Like information is power. Like knowing what steps you need to take, what needs to happen. So I want to kind of go into, why would someone who is a business owner or a lawyer or an accountant, why would someone make a course? Like what? I don't understand. Like I might sell hair. Like why would I make a course?
Yeah. So for people, so it ranges. The reasons for building courses range. So my friend created a course and we're going to like be relooking at it now, but it was basically like people couldn't afford her services. So she created a course that was at a lower price point, but still got them what they wanted. So that was like one reason they created a course. For people like not in the business industry, like, let's just use the hair example. If someone, does hair, like what are some courses you could take? Like how to take care of your hair. Oh, your hair is damaged. Like how do you fix it? Or it could be teaching a course to others to specialize in it. Like I had a lady reach out, she does eyebrows. And she's like, I want to create a course on microblading that's online. And I was like, okay, like let's do it, so that she could expand her business and reach more people. So the goal really, I think, in creating a course with everybody I work with who's creating a course is they want to reach more people and help more people. And like, let's just be honest, we're human. We can only we have a capacity. We all have different capacities. And so when you create a course, you have that ability to reach more people, but still like have your time to you, because you might have 10 people in your course rather than 10 hours of coaching calls, or 10 people in your course rather than like training 10 people individually.
Okay. So this is something that someone who is even a goods provider would be able to provide to somebody. So, I mean, I think Katie's right. Like, I agree. I think that if you are anyone in the world, right, if you're human, then you have something to share with someone, whether it be your story or your expertise, or it's your journey even to entrepreneurship. Like you can make a lesson, on the 25 mistakes you made and how you lost $10,000 in your first year making your business. I'm gonna buy that course. I'll be like, what did you do? Let me avoid that. So
I'm gonna buy it just because I'm nosy and I want to know the tea.
Right.
Like, what did you really do?
What you lost 10,000? Let me find out, right?
Yeah,
or I made 100,000 in my first year. So, courses are available for anyone. And that's why I was really excited about this, because it's also another way to make income, just like Kitty's doing. It can be a second, it's a residual income because once you create it, it's on the platform and it's constantly, it can constantly give you revenue. So I think that's really, really awesome. So why don't you kind of like, it's for someone who has never really there's so many types of courses, right? There's like, people say, oh, it's a workshop, it's a masterclass, it's a webinar, it's a mini course, it's a course, it's a coaching course, it's a year long program. It's so many types of courses. So how do I navigate that as someone who's interested in being like, I want to figure out where I should even begin, right? What can I do?
So first I'm going to say, like, listen to you and like what you want to do, just because like Sally down the road has like 10 million courses. Like, we don't need to be Sally, like Sally can mind for business. You need to do you need to do what feels right to you. I have taken a PDF course where it was just like, I signed in and like downloaded all the PDFs. I took an email course. They delivered all the videos like straight to your email inbox. So first I want to say, like, don't feel like you have to do it a certain way just because that's the way it's been done before. I think if you are teaching something, let me back up.
Okay.
To help you decide, back it up a little bit. To help you decide how long or like what form you should deliver your course in, I think it's really going to take looking at your content. Like, how much information do I have? How much information do I want to give in this level of my business? And then from there, decide what to do. So I think like mini courses, webinars, master classes, email courses, PDFs, that's all something that someone should be able to complete in like an hour or two. Okay. They can like quickly consume it, and that's good to go. If you do webinars or master classes, I like to say do it live once or twice. Okay. The last time you do it live, record it and just go from there. When you start looking at like courses that are going to probably take 2 to probably 6 hours for them to take all the content and complete it, we're looking at like full online courses. And then if it's going to take longer, then you transition into like that, like maybe a group program or like online meetings every so often, maybe get into your year-long program. Okay. But I think courses should be able to be consumed and within like 6 hours. Like, I always say to try not to have videos that are longer than 15 minutes, because even though we're adults, we like lose. If someone's like bored at minute 10, like they are not paying attention to the rest of it. And that's like 30 minutes of content they're missing. So quick, short videos are always the best, but anything over probably 6 to 8 hours should be in a group program or like where there's weekly meetings to check in with them.
That's really interesting. So I appreciate that, because I think that it is a lot. And I want to circle back to something Katie said. She said to do it live twice and then save it, which means that it doesn't need to be a big production for you to be able to do it. And that's been my experience as well. The courses that I've enjoyed the most are when I feel like they're just authentically teaching. Even if they're talking to people in the chat or being like, oh, hey, everybody, it just feels like a better experience than when someone's behind a plain white wall and they're just talking to the camera and they're just like, da, da, da. So, the beauty of the live is that it makes the viewer who's not viewing it live feel as if it's a more interactive experience, because last time I checked, we are still teaching to humans. And we all want to feel like we're part of something. So you don't have to be perfect to do your course. You can make flubs. You can even kind of trip over your words. It's okay. No one likes to hear bah, 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 bah. Nobody likes to hear that. That's why these courses, these main providers and things, when they be doing those courses and your eyes just kind of roll back, no one wants to hear that. So it's completely okay to be in your personality and kind of, move. So for someone who is like, you know what, I'm interested in making a course, but I just feel like I'm overwhelmed, I don't know where to begin, what's one thing they can do to start on their journey?
Okay, so first, like, just get it all out of your head. Like any idea you have in your head, you're like, oh, I could create a course on how to make the perfect Thanksgiving turkey, or how to make the perfect pie crust, or maybe it's like how to use a Cricut and like build your Cricut business. You could literally create a course on anything, but if you are feeling overwhelmed, step number one is to just get it out of your head. And then like close the notebook, close the notes app, and like just walk away. And then that thing you're supposed to do is gonna come nudge you again. Like you'll be in the shower, like washing your hair, scrubbing the body, and it'll be like, ooh, yes. The universe will come. The universe will take care of it all, I promise. But it'll hit you. Your idea will hit you. But if you're feeling overwhelmed, definitely get it out of your head, because then it's just taking up brain space, and who wants that?
Okay. No, I think that makes sense. Statistically, we should write things down. I know we're in a digital world and we are just digital girls, but you should definitely write it down with pen. It's something about, especially when you're building a course. And I'm saying this because, guys, I just built my course, and I'm telling you, I had to write and rewrite so many times, just organizing, even just starting out. I thought it was going to be one thing. And then as I began to build the course, I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't need to be in here. This does need to be in here. Oh my God, I forgot all about this. I need to put this in here. And so you have to kind of just start the process, and your brain will work. And you have the capacity to do it. The knowledge is there. Writing it down allows your brain to kind of empty with that and be able to move forward. So I think that's great advice. So we're talking about how you can start. We're talking about what all the courses there are, but what are some common mistakes that course creators make, that you've seen when they're building out their curriculum? What are some common mistakes?
So I think the biggest one is that course creators feel like they have to put everything into one course. Like a lot of course creators feel like everything that's in your brain needs to be in the course, but when that happens, it tends to overwhelm the person who purchased your course, because adults, when we buy courses or we buy programs, we are thinking about like, oh, I have this problem, I need to solve it. And then when they join a program that's like super overwhelming, they're like, never mind, that's not what I wanted, like abort mission. And we don't want that in our course. The other thing too is like, it doesn't all have to be in one course. You could create multiple courses. Like you could create, let's just go with Thanksgiving, because I'm craving Thanksgiving. You could create you don't have to create a whole course on like the best Thanksgiving meal. You can do like a pie course, a turkey course, a potato course, mac and cheese course, a greens course. Like you can split up your knowledge into multiple courses, or you could do like a full course and a master class, a full course and a mini course. Like it doesn't all have to be in one. There are multiple options when you are creating your course. Don't feel like everything needs to be in there.
Okay. I think that's a great tip. So what about if you've already, so do you work with people? I know, because you're working with curriculum and you're working with people who are trying to launch the course, but what about people who are like, you know what, I've made my course and maybe I'm concerned, do I need to go back and do something to it? Like how do what does that look like? If someone is concerned about that, like if they want to build a curriculum, or maybe they're not getting reviews, right? Maybe they're not getting any feedback, or maybe they've made these mistakes and they put everything in one course. Like, is there anything they can do to kind of backpedal or fix that?
100%. So one thing, depending on where your course is hosted, you can go in and see where there was drop off, or where your clients stopped watching videos, or they skipped a video, or most course hosting platforms have that ability. And you can go in and be like, okay, well, they only made it 5 minutes into this video. What happened the rest of 5 minutes? Why did they stop? Go in and look at, okay, maybe this was too much. It might also just be a case of like, maybe there's too much information in one video and I just need to split it up. The other thing you can do is like a course audit, where you can go in and look and be like, okay, did I cover this topic? Did I cover this topic? Did this make sense? They asked me about filing a trademark, but I thought I included information about trademarks. Like what information were they looking for that I didn't have, etc. And so like looking at the questions you got from course takers Also, I know it's like scary. I don't really do well with this, but you could also send out an email like, hey, I noticed like you didn't take the full course. No hard feelings. Like I noticed you stopped. Was there anything that it was missing or lacking or you wish it had? And just be willing and just let them know, like, I'm just using it for feedback to improve it, to make it better. And I want to make sure, you know, the course is what everybody is looking for. But I think starting with like going in and looking at analytics to see where people fell off.
Okay. No, I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. And you know, if you've never created a course before, you haven't created a course and you haven't looked at that data, what she's saying is look at your data. So if you've never looked at it, this is a good opportunity to do so, because even if there have been past people who haven't, you can still improve it because the course doesn't quote unquote expire. You know, you can update it, you can make it better, you can make it fresh, get it in front of new clients like, hey, this is new and improved, reviewed by 100 people. Like, you know, there are ways you can spin all those emails that you sent out for feedback, right, as positivity. And that kind of goes into marketing. So it's kind of, you can kind of finagle it. Like, you know, don't let yourself get bogged down. If you've already created a course, go back, check and see if you can make it better or you can improve it. So what do you think about aids in regards to courses, right? So if you're doing a video, particularly video courses are very popular now, right? Most people, they're doing video courses. Some people might print out workbooks to go along with it. What do you think about when individuals are creating courses? How much extra stuff do I need to create? You know, do I have to have workbooks? Do I need to have worksheets? And do I need to be in Canva making everything pretty, or should I just be on here just chatting with some slides?
Okay, so we'll tackle workbooks and we're going to tackle slides. So
there's two different things. Okay.
I'm just going to split it up so we hit it all. It's just so my processes. So from my own market research, from what I've seen in courses, people either do like a PDF or they do like Google Docs, like click here, grab a Google Doc. So in my own market research, I found that people prefer PDFs. I think the fact that they are downloading a PDF makes them feel like, ooh, I got something. Like, ooh, she gave me something. and I've taken a course where it's just a note sheet. And like, that's all it is. But there are 4 different types of learners, and the auditory and verbal, not auditory, I'm sorry. The visual and verbal learners like to take notes. And so even just giving them like something where they can take notes is totally fine. I think if you are teaching like a complex subject where they will need to like work through a process, giving them a workbook, a worksheet, a printable is like perfect. Because then, like we said earlier, like pen to paper, like here's what it is, here's the deal, and it helps them process information. So I think workbooks give that like extra, like, ooh, yes, I'm getting more than just the video. And then with slides, so a lot of people have like super fancy slides. I don't have super fancy slides. I have like a background and like a white box, and like all my information is on the white box. I try and keep my slides as simple as possible because like people who have ADHD, they get distracted really easily, but you also need something for like visual learners to look at. So I try and keep like very minimal text and very minimal things on the slide so that I'm hitting what the learners need, but also like not distracting for other people. Okay.
Yeah. That's some good takeaways. And I noticed that so I'm just putting together everything you said, during our time together. And, you're like, okay, it should be 15 minutes. It shouldn't be too long. I keep hearing this distracted. People don't have attention span. So, are we children? Because it sounds like adults are children too. But
I think with the instant gratification of our phones now, like where we can jump on Amazon and order something and have it delivered in a couple hours, or we feel like we are getting instant gratification with our notifications and our emails, that like need to keep our brain like stimulated kicks in somehow. And I think it's just the nature of the society we live in, like that we need to be 100% stimulated all the time, or we're like kaput.
I can see that. And I think, what I really enjoy about this is that you're pointing out different factors that I think a lot of course creators don't think about, right? Like the student, I think when you're creating your course, oftentimes you're just thinking like, oh, I just got to get this content out here. I just want to make sure that it looks pretty. I mean, make sure that, I'm on the right platform. I want to make sure I have a good funnel and I have a good price point. And we forget that the course is for the student. So, you might be like, oh, I'm going to pack it out. And Katie's telling us, don't pack it out. The student doesn't want to watch you for an hour and a half. Do you want to watch you for an hour and a half? I think my factor was I watched it, like when I recorded my course, I watched myself and I was like, would I want to sit here and watch it? Okay, no, we need to cut this, or we need to do this, or I need to re-record this. And I think that's a good factor. If you cannot sit through your stuff, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert, Katie. If you cannot sit through your stuff, if you're sitting at your course and you're doing this, oh honey, you got to go back to the drawing board. You need to cut something, add something, right? That's a good effect. If
you're like me, I'm like all up in my course videos, like what was my face doing? Is there so if you are not focused on your own course, like your clients really aren't going to be focused.
If you can't sell yourself, you're not going to sell nobody else. Right. Oh my gosh, so good. I'm loving it. Okay, so Katie, what do you want us to take away today? Because we covered so many good things for people who are business owners who might be thinking about doing a course, people who didn't even think about doing a course, and people who have a course and need to fix it. What do you want them to walk away with today?
So two things. One, I just want to empower you that you are the expert in something, something backwards and forwards that you could teach anybody. So I don't want you to feel like, oh, I don't know all this stuff Katie's talking about. That's okay. It's totally okay. I give away a lot of free stuff on my Instagram. So that's totally fine. I just want you to know that you are the expert and that you can create a course if that's what you want to do. And then second, I've been calling it course malpractice because a lot of people are like, let me help you create a course. But they're just teaching the launching and the marketing, but forgetting the whole let's build a course part. What are you actually giving them? You
That's
can
so
create
good.
a course, but your marketing can be great, but if your course is crap, then that's what people are going to remember.
And that's so good, Katie, because I think that that's left behind a lot. Even when you saw your topic and I was like, curriculum. I'm just being honest. I was like, oh, right. Curriculum for the course. That makes sense. So don't get caught up with just don't get caught up with just being like, this is a moneymaker. And I think that's kind of the atmosphere we're in right now, right? There's so many courses out there and it just can feel very overwhelming because some people are good. Some people are just a lot of people are just using it for moneymakers or trying to monetize their audience. Ooh, that's a whole other thing. We don't have time to get into that. Okay. Woo.
Oh, that could be we could do a whole day on that.
Okay. And so listen, if you're going to create a course, you definitely should hit up Katie. She is going to help you get your curriculum together. And the thing is, as your entrepreneur, you don't have to do everything yourself. You can hire experts to do certain things, especially for something like a course, which has long-term benefits and value. So you could spend $100, $300, $400, $1,000 someone helping you build $1 million course. And in the grand scheme of things, is that really a lot of money? It's not. It's a great investment. So here's the thing. I have put Katie's information. Tell people where they can find you. I put it in the link, but tell them where they can find you.
Yes. So right now you can find me on Instagram. It's at Katie the Course Coach. And if you are sitting here and you're like, Katie, I have questions that I need answered. Tomorrow I'm doing a free live course coaching call, all your questions. And so the link for that to register for that is in my Instagram bio.
Okay. And you also have Kitty's also given us a freebie that she created about, and what's in there, just like a quick little blurb so we know.
Yeah. So everybody always wants to know what course platform should I use? And so I don't like answering the question because it's really person dependent. Like it really depends on you. So I created like a fun little like BuzzFeed style quiz, like to help you figure out what course platform you are. And then it also comes with a review that I did of the seven most popular course platforms.
And that is also in the bio, so you guys can check it out. And we know we're here for the free and the quizzes. So definitely check out Katie. She has given us so much good information today. And if you want to build a course, she seems like she is the go-to lady because she does this in her day job. Okay. So no trying to scam. This is what she does. She is an expert in her field. And we are so happy to have Katie with us today. Thank you all who tuned in for Getting to Gold. Again, we're here every Tuesday at 6 p.m. till we're just not no more. Please be safe. Please be safe. And remember to wear a mask.
Yes.
Bye-bye.